Provo, Utah. This is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy. Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Review Podcast. Ultima Final Fantasy Podcast. I am Joe.
I am Schweiss, Caleb Schweiss.
And today we are joined by Emily Mentos. Say hi, Emily.
Hello, Emily.
And
very fresh.
We got Krinatal, our third host, replacing Caleb Craig. Krinatal.
Of course.
Is back on the line. Krinatal, did you change your microphone?
I'm using my headset. I'm not using my Blue Yeti.
Wait, did you just wait? Is this the same microphone we just had 20 seconds ago?
Yes.
Okay,
really?
Just say yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds better.
Sounds different.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I've been fine tuning it like for weeks on end, trying to make sure that the quality gets in, and I think most of the time it's just Discord crashes that's been screwing with it.
Maybe it's Discord that's screwing with our volume levels. Anyway, they won't know at home because we got that hard limiter, but
now they will because we spent 10, 20 seconds.
I don't care, man. Today we are going to be reviewing Heavensward. Now, we did not finish Heavensward as we were saying before.
Yeah,
Let's
Heavensward.
get this out of the way because we decided to change our mind once again.
Yeah, so Heavensward on the side scroll panel on the site that only 3 people know about because we keep getting asked when we're going to play such and such game.
Yeah.
That
Lazy
one says just Heavensward, right? And that contains what we're going to review today, as well as the Dragon Song War quest line that we're going to be doing in the next few weeks, or however long that takes us. No level cap stopping us, so we'll probably breeze through that. Sure. But what we decided was to do, so we're going to do Heavensward review today, Dragon Song War next, and then we are going to play Stormblood. I know this goes against what we've been saying for a while now, but there are many reasons why we should play it, and there are only a couple reasons why we shouldn't. So, main reason number 1 why we should, all of the quests are out until level 70, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so level 70 is the last quest, or the last few quests, or whatever they have it lined up in the expansion. That's where it ends, so it is a full expansion.
Stormblood in and of itself,
yes.
Not Stormblood patches.
Yeah.
Stormblood is out.
Yeah, like the Dragon Song War is a section all on its own.
Right.
Stormblood does not have that yet. It is not released yet.
Right.
And
It'll be a few months.
The main scenario quest of Stormblood is what we're doing.
No one else brought this up, Schweiss. I'm mad about this.
I know. No one tried to make us play it.
You brought this up this week, and I was like, oh, fuck, you're right. Well,
you guys referenced you wanted to do a full, complete story, a full 100% complete story.
Yeah, okay.
Just beginning to realize that you guys do it in sections.
But this is what we did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we did before, and that no one brought up, and this is what I'm mad about. No one bringing it up, because I didn't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Frankly.
Well,
no,
last time
parts 1 and 2... Krinatal, hold on. Parts 1 and 2 of Final Fantasy XIV were just the original release of A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, 2.0 story content.
And then we did the patches that lead up to Heavensward after that. And they had different quest lines in there. But so we did it as Final Fantasy XIV's parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, with parts 1 and 2 being one thing and part 3 and 4 being another. So what we're probably going to do, unless we decide to retitle it, which we might, what we're probably going to do is do Heavensward part 1 and 2, maybe. Who knows how long this will be. And then Heavenward part 2 or part 3 and 4, whatever it is.
We'll just
do
do
Dragon Song War.
Yeah.
But we'll probably just call it Heavensward part 1 and 2, 3. Whatever the numbers end up being. It depends on how long we go.
I don't know. The difference between this time and last time, though, is last time it was broken up in... I don't think there's like a main quest title. Like each of them were... It's like Maelstrom, blah, blah, blah. And then the next one is the...
Yeah.
This zone's blah, blah, blah. And then the Mog one and all of that. So there, I don't know of a like an all-encompassing title, so it would be difficult to rename. But
I would just say it's the second part of Heavensward, which it is.
yeah, in a way, yeah.
But because we split up the reviews that way, I was like, oh shit, because we did that, we have precedence now. That means we do the first half of Stormblood, and then right before the next expansion comes out, we do the second half of Stormblood.
Right.
And then move on to the next expansion.
Yeah, whenever that quest line. Oh, that's true, actually.
So
I was the one thing that I had against moving forward with this plan was when we go back into the game, I didn't want to go back in and play it for like 2 weeks and be done, right? Because what we have now, we have all of Heavensward that we've completed now, and then we have the Dragonsong War. So that's like, a month and a half, couple months worth of content. It's not like 3 weeks and then we unsub and then we come back in a year and do like another 3 weeks. Like that would suck.
Yeah,
that'd be terrible.
Yeah, but since we're gonna do the second half of Stormblood plus whatever new expansion has come out, because that'll raise it from 70 to 80, I would assume.
Yeah, so this is very technical and very behind the scenes, but basically, we're just going to go ahead and review Heavensward right now.
Yeah.
Review Dragonsong / Heavensward Part 2 later, and then later, and I mean in a row, we'll do Stormblood right after.
Yeah,
so we're
later,
staying on
like-
14 longer than we thought we were.
Yeah, and one of the other nice things that Dr. Roxo and a few of our other hardcore players of 14 brought up is like now we'll actually get to experience the game as it's supposed to be, and that's always been something that's like irked me
guys
about
have
Final
been missing
Fantasy
that
11. Yeah, like that was something we could never experience because we played it years and years after the fact.
Yeah, you guys could experience it. I tried to explain it, but it's just you have to experience it for yourself to understand the whole concept of patch notes
before
and
it gets
understand
nerfed.
changes. Yeah,
Before
Yeah.
it gets nerfed.
Nerfing is like ruining a lot of things for people.
Does it ruin? Does it really ruin?
Yeah,
You know what
'cause there's
happened
no more
this week? So
challenge.
Stormblood came out, and the mechanics of the game for many jobs were switched a bit.
A lot.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Well, to me it was a bit, but it could be a lot too. My
Yeah.
white mage got much better black magic skills, and then its healing or its tanking ability was lessened. And then other jobs were obviously changed, but I don't play the other jobs, so I don't know how they were changed.
Mine's way better.
But it was simplified for me. Was it simplified for you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's easier. There are
Okay.
less things that I feel like I need to worry about now. Now, I mean, the troublesome part though is that I have just barely earned my high-end black mage skills. So like that's new to me. And then I have the new stuff. So like I'm already dealing more damage because I have my ley lines and I'm
I
able
got
to
stuff
do
taken away from
Fire
me.
4.
I didn't have like anything added.
Yeah, there were a few things that were taken from me as well. Like I don't have my healing move anymore, and I don't have
That's bad.
like
That's
some
sad.
of my cross class stuff.
What do you guys play? What is your like main thing? Granitol and Emily?
I mean warrior,
Warrior.
and Emily.
And that's the tank position, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I do Summoner Scholar, which is a healer and a DPS.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, somebody died upstairs.
Someone just there was a big loud bang in here and no one else heard it. So that was nice. Okay. So what we're going to be reviewing today is just to the Heavensward quest, just to the climax that gives you some credits.
Yeah,
keep that in
some.
mind for 14 players who are coming back and listening to this episode in the future. That's what's happening. Let's get into it. Let's talk about development. Okay, guys.
Okay, did we stop segments? Did we stop segments right now?
Yeah, we stopped a segment.
Okay.
We are
Zoe
live
jumped
streaming
into
on
the
Twitch.
Zoe jumped into the channel, so I don't know if you wanted to add Zoe into the episode.
Zoe, do you want to be in the episode?
They're in the secret room.
They're
So
I moved them because I didn't want them to just like
room.
randomly
Oh.
appear mid-episode. Be weird about it.
If you want her to, she can. Yeah, it's fine. It's up to
Yeah,
them. What the
yeah.
fuck
It's a
is
deer,
happening
yeah.
up there? Like, what do they have? Like fucking
Zoe,
pool
you still there?
balls?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
should we
guys, this is Zoe.
go in the secret room?
I mean, the secret room allows people to not just jump in randomly.
Yes, we
That-
should.
Maybe we should do that. Let's
Okay.
do that.
Move us to the
there.
secret room, Crinitol. And also
Pull the
bring Crinitol's
It-
volume up.
pull
It
us
is
to
the room full of secrets.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Woo! Bring his down.
Okay. Yeah.
Zoe?
Yeah, that's me.
Your name is
Zola in the
Zoe?
game.
Wait, sorry, what?
Zolo
name.
in the game.
Zolo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't sound like a Zoe. I'm not judging here. You just don't
Now,
sound
Joe.
like a Zoe.
That's like an original character from when 1.0 was going on. I had a character on there named Zoe Rose instead of Zolo Rose.
Oh, okay.
Way back.
Okay.
Way back when.
So we're gonna talk about development. If you guys know anything about the development of
Heavensward.
Heavensward that is interesting, feel free to bring it up. It's very short.
Development of Heavensward.
This is why you watch the Twitch stream, guys, because this is behind the scenes. This is the goodies.
That's right.
This is the goodies.
Yeah.
This is the raw, uncut, pure, juicy territory.
That's
Yeah.
That
right.
was too
Okay,
much.
I'm gonna start.
That was too much.
I'm gonna start going in 3, 2, 1. Heavensward began development about a year before its release on June 23rd, 2015, just a few months after its October announcement at the 2014 Fan Festival.
Wait. They began development after the announcement of the game.
No. Sorry, just before. I was misreading
Oh,
my
before.
paper.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I was like, what the fuck? What is this?
So,
Don't
What is this,
Okay.
13? They're like, oh, here's the trailer. Do you like it? Do you like the demo? Okay, let's build the game.
a year before its release, which was just a few months before the October announcement
Okay, all right.
at the 2014 Fan Festival, which, by the way, we totally have video of and we're there for. And I don't want to brag or anything, but we did spend money we did not have
Oh,
to
yes.
go down to Vegas to hand out cards.
Yep, and hang out in the hotel pool for like days.
Where's that video evidence? I have not seen
It's
that
on our
video
YouTube channel, dude.
Yeah, gotta dig.
Yeah.
Now I gotta dig for it.
It's
Let me
in
dig
there
for it.
somewhere. It's in there. We don't
I've only been stuck in the 11 stuff.
we don't
for,
prune the YouTube channel too well, I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
We let it. It's all natural in there.
It
You
is.
know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, it is 100% natural. Anyway, apparently they chose the theme of sky. They were debating, though. They were debating between the theme of sky and the theme of water to
Oh, okay.
or sea, I think. It was sky or sea. Like Yoshi P was like, oh, what should we base this new expansion on? I'm assuming Stormblood is like fire because we're getting that kind of imagery. Anyway, so they chose the theme of sky to base the expansion off of.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So my assumption being that, there's dragons and, there's wings and now we have flying
And
mounts.
you can fly.
Sky.
Yeah.
Anyway, the developers then started strategically, once they knew they were going to do this expansion about dragons and whatever, they started to strategically set up patches through A Realm Reborn throughout the year that would slowly set up the Ishgard lore. Along with the expansion of the story, the game, as it came out, did utilize DirectX 11 technologies to better process the game as it was and to slightly enhance the graphics. And I don't believe that's for the PS3 version or the PS4 version, but I believe they did that for the PC version. So there was enhanced graphics once you installed Heavensward. And the expansion, twice,
Yeah.
the Heavensward expansion would continue through the Dragonsong War campaign, released through patches that now lead to Stormblood, but this review will only be covering the game's original release. What did you guys think when you watched the original Heavensward trailers? Were you guys already 14 players at that time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty exciting. I was excited for it. I'm more excited for the Heavensward trailer because it was like this gaudy, amazing trailer than the Stormblood, which was kind of weird to me personally. But
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like even though I had not played 14 when we went to that convention, which made it really weird that we were there, I felt like it looked very interesting, and I was like, okay, I'm excited to get to 14. Like, it seems cool. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like the snow. I like snowy
Found
areas. So I don't know.
It's always exciting to have new content when you've been playing the same kind of stuff for the past, 2 years. So it's exciting to get to new content.
and at that point, they didn't really have a release schedule for like when they're going to do expansions because they had just
they don't
recovered
really-
from the debacle of 1.0 into 2.0.
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about the release point of Heavensward, it's been some time since that case scenario when they released A Realm Reborn after that scenario, because Heavensward came out 2 years after A Realm Reborn came out, so we had already figured out the structure of the expansion and patches as they come in, based on the months and when they come in. So it's every 3 months a different patch will drop for a section. So 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3.5. Every 3 months, a 0.1 will be added onto the patch, and new content will be added based on Realm Reborn's continuation after level 50. From the 50 and main story quests of A Realm Reborn into the beginning of Heavensward. So that's how you figure out what happens after they release Heavensward going into the Dragon Song War. So we knew when the patches were going to drop to know how long to wait to continue playing.
Yeah, it's been pretty much every 2 years they come out with a big expansion. From what I can see,
it's their new plan anyway.
How many do you guys think they're going to have? Just curious, like 1 more, 2 more? I think they've got to have at least enough to get you up to level 99.
I know, right? Isn't that the cap?
Yeah. 99. You got to get level 99 or else this has been a giant waste of time.
So that's already guaranteeing 3 more. So I personally think there's going to be 4 more expansions, personally.
How many did 11 have then?
A shitload.
Dude, like 5 plus.
See, they had Zillart, Chains, Treasures, Goddess.
Seekers of Adulin.
Yeah.
They had 6 then.
And then Rhapsody.
All 3 Abyssy things.
There's
yeah,
6.
Rhapsody.
6
So we have at least 3, but up to 6.
Yeah, but you also got to understand they added in story content that's not like expansion wise, but it came with a giant chunk of the package, which was the Kupo Data, and the Shantoto Ascension, and
oh, we know.
Yeah, we were there.
We
did them. I did them. We all understand that.
Yeah.
We're part of the story now.
Quintal is King Hog here.
Emily, it's a rough game.
Yeah.
And you'll be battled.
I'll stick with 14. I'll stick with 14.
A week.
It's all right. It's all right though.
Not as rough as when you started, but oh well.
No.
All right. Well, let's dive into the story. And so I've got the story overview, and then we'll let everybody share their opinions on the story. Okay. I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. I'm so excited. Okay, so usually when we write up these write-ups to do the review episodes on, we got to look at like a big, huge amount of text, and then we make our own simplified version of it, much smaller, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of freaking out and like, oh my god, this is so much, within that.
There is.
Especially when it's an MMO.
Especially when it's MMO, because they'll like include like every single quest line.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you what
detail.
though. 11. You have to. They have the quests listed out, which is great, and they have all the dialogue for the quests. But on some of those expansions, that is all they fucking have.
That's all that
online.
anybody ever put on the internet.
It's like, oh, I'm glad we have the dialogue, but can I just get a fucking synopsis on this? Like, please. I know what happened for the most part, but like I might brush over some important stuff, and I don't want to do that. But now I have to.
And then we'll get lost like we did in some other episodes. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, none of that.
So I got this one from Reddit, though, because someone was like, I'll just give you a Heavensward synopsis. I'm like, this is perfect. This is basically what I would have written. Just the grammar is a little off. Anyway.
Okay.
And he also doesn't freak out about the, spoiler alert, the fucking Nanamo being alive still bullshit. Which I would have added some curse words in that line down at the bottom of the first paragraph. Anyway, so here's what it is. Basically, you go into Ishgard wanting to help them against the dragons, venturing through the Western Highlands, dealing with the heretics and Iceheart/Shiva. Then there's this little segment where you find out that Raubon is where Raubon is, and you go free him, which I thought was a really cool instance when you go free Raubon. So
that was a great one. One of the status effects of that place is that you're consistently poisoned, which is a great mechanic. Understanding that you're under a timed event where you realize you're dying as you're still in there.
Yeah, everything is timed in that area. You got to kill some guys. You got to go around. There's like almost a very simple puzzle involved there as well. And I just thought like, wow, Heavensward started with a bang. Unfortunately, it was only a single player duty, right? It was a single, what do you call that, an instance or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, instance, yeah.
Anyway, because it was single player, I was kind of disappointed, but I was like, oh, okay, wow, this is turned into awesome mode. So that was the part where I was like, oh, Heavensward might be pretty cool. So anyway, you free him, you fight Ilberd and that stupid Lalafell Yu Hase, and you also find out from Lorito himself that Nanamo is still alive, which that was the part where I said, no, Heavensward is not awesome, and fuck this game. Because that was a 2-hour fucking cutscene in A Realm Reborn.
Yeah. They cut away that dark undertone that everybody really enjoyed.
Yeah,
so
she
sad.
fucking like dies, and I was like, "Wow, that's incredible." And then
they kind of undercut it even more by when we're releasing the story into the new content that they're just like, "Oh yeah, she's alive. We don't care."
Well, the crazy part for us, though, I want to add this here. Like, she died like a year ago, right? For Ultima Final Fantasy, this bitch has been dead for a while. And I'm sitting there, and they're talking like, oh yeah, she's just been asleep. I'm like, for a year? Like, it's been like a year and a half.
No
man.
one told me.
Like, she is in there like soiling herself day in, day out. She's dead. Okay, she is dead. And then I had to sit back, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay. It's actually only been a few days in the game.
Yeah, because I guess there would have been that final patch.
Yeah,
that would have had that giant cutscene.
They left us alone for 9 months, stewing in our own.
Oh, so that's still like a long ass
Doing
time.
in our own filth.
It still is. It still is a long time, but I feel like in their chronological setting,
it's
it
only
is
been
right
like
after.
a few days.
I thought it was a betrayal. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Oh, it was. It was. It's a huge undertone.
They were.
Then they try to follow it up later in the content with another character, and they were like,
Which
you
was
burned me once,
worse.
you're not burning me twice.
They wanted to go Game of Thrones mode, but they couldn't do it.
No, they're going.
Yeah.
They're going Final Fantasy IV mode, where like,
Oh yeah,
all these people are dead. Just kidding. Just
Psych,
Yeah.
the only one that's
Yeah.
actually dead is the best one.
Yeah.
Okay, so once that's all settled, you return to Ishgard, deal with a few things, and along with Istinian.
Estinian.
Estinian? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they say his name in the cutscenes like
Estinian?
twice.
Yeah.
Oh my guy's
Istidine.
Estinian.
Shut up. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. The fucking Koji Fox and his team do not know how to like make anything readable. They're like, every time I see his name, I see Einstein. That's what I see. Like my eyes go over it and it goes Einstein. Obviously.
equals MC squared.
Yeah. I mean, I
Eventually,
can tell you of all the data of how they chose the languages for each of the races back in 11, so that's how they had set up. Like, Elven is ancient French, the Rogadins are a bit of Germanic and Old English Testament, and then Humes are just Old Testament languages and French.
what's Old English Testament? I'm confused.
Like
Hebrew?
a little bit older than that, but yeah.
Hebrew's pretty old.
I don't know. Obviously, we're confused.
Mesopotamian?
Okay. Yeah,
That's too far. That's
English
too far.
has nothing to do with that. Okay, all right. So eventually you get to the I think you told us about that in the other 14 episode, which
Yeah.
is interesting,
Yes.
but it's annoying as shit when you're
It is.
trying
Dude
to read
That's what it is.
things like
It-
Eastonine
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck his name is anyway.
Estinian.
Estinian. Okay.
Make it easier for you. I'm going to make a 9 reference. He's Steiner.
Einsteinian?
He's Einsteinian, yes. So eventually you get to the Dravinian Forelands and get assistance through the Voth. God, these fucking names, dude. Who need you to kill Ravana first, then Dragonkin, that Iceheart / Shiva, knows to head up to the Churning Mists to get help from Hreisvelger.
yeah.
Is that,
There we go.
Was that
That's
close
right.
enough?
Good job.
Well, they actually say his
Hreisvelger.
name more than once in a voiced
He's a
cutscene.
very important character in the story.
So, Hreisvelger, tell me. Oh my God, that's the dragon, right? The white dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure it's not one of these other fuckers. So anyway, yeah, you do see the white dragon a lot. There's a similar storyline. I felt like in 11. Wasn't
Yeah,
there?
there was the
That's the Seekers of a Dueling concept.
Seekers.
Yeah, you had to keep talking to like this Miss Dragon over and over again. And, like,
Yep.
there was
It
an
was
old
good times.
war you were dealing with. I think they might have
Oh, you think?
just took a little bit out of 11, put it in 14. Not that they haven't done that for everything else in the game.
Oh man, when you see Stormblood, you are gonna get a huge wave of euphoria.
I thought you were going to say I was going to hit a huge hard on.
Yeah, me too. And I was like,
Well,
I've been
if you're an
rocking.
11 fan, you probably will.
I've been rocking half chub this entire time.
This
so.
entire review.
Yeah.
Should we go on a storm mode?
So you go through Samal, the peak of the mountain in the Four Lands, and enter the Churning Mists. You help the Mughals up there at Mogholm a bit, and you get the trumpet that they use to head the Zenith to call down Hraesvelgr and ask him for help. Hraesvelgr basically tells you that in the past, and this was a cool part of the expansion, I thought. In the past, Isgard was a peaceful kingdom. Dragons and humans lived in peace until King Thordan and the 12 knights killed... help me with this name.
Ratatoskr.
Ratatoskr? Is that right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of Midgar Sormer's, I know how to say his name, Midgar Sormer's first brood, and ate her eyes.
Delicious.
Nidhogg heard of this and vowed to kill every last human.
Well, he didn't eat them. He absorbed them.
Absorbed them. Okay. You also learn that Nidhogg, who's like would you call him like the bad dragon of the expansion?
He's more like a rogue dragon that doesn't accept the status quo and wants to fight everybody. So he's basically the rebel dragon.
He's the libertarian dragon, is what he is. He's like, no, fuck the humans and fuck the dragons, okay? You all got it wrong.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah. You also learned that Nidhogg got one of his current eyes from Hraesvelgr. So they're like magic eyes. They're like...
Well, they're a huge concentration of mana, and dragons' eyes are the soul of the dragon themselves. So without them, they're essentially just a construct of skin.
Mostly they look like the bottom of a fleshlight. That's what these eyes look like.
I was thinking gummy, but yes. Or like fucking salamander egg with a slice in it.
Oh my god, man.
That's what his eyes look like, especially when they're pulled out of the dragon's head.
Yeah,
when they look, when they have just the orb and the vag. That's what it is. Just looks like an orb and a vag.
That's how you absorb its power. You have to insert penis into eye socket.
Oh,
and then you give it back, and he's like, I couldn't see a thing.
God, Caleb. You just took it.
My eye is sealed closed.
Oh, jeez. Now we just lost the rest of our listeners.
That's okay.
With that, look at that.
This is for us.
Well, you've lost all your child listeners.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, maybe we actually probably gained those.
Yeah. They're like, oh, awesome. They're talking about seeding into a dragon's eye. I would be down as child and adult.
Wait, something comes out of there? Anyway, okay. To the end of the war between man and dragonkin, you need to kill Nidhogg. So you go kill him, get his other eye, and return it to Hraesvelgr. Nidhogg is seemingly dead at this point. So then you learn through the echo that all of Ishgard is of the same blood from whence Heldrath... from when Heldrath?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Hraesvelgr or Heldrath?
No, it's when he slayed him the first time, yeah.
Okay. Had slayed Nidhogg the first time and learned that everyone is not lowborn or highborn.
Yeah, it all traces back to this dude, so...
There you go. So the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And like yeah. Nothing like that, actually. So you head back to Ishgard with this juicy gossip. I love this guy's write-up and his, like...
Yeah.
He's really into it, except he didn't say that the fucking queen getting killed was bullshit. Anyway, talk to Emeric, and it turns out that there's a Huron woman called the Mongrel who basically is born from a low-born Huron servant woman, and a highborn Elezen. In Ishgard, that's taboo. You don't have mixed children between highborn and lowborn. So at this point, Sir Cheribert, is that right?
Sheberon.
Sheberon? Are you sure? Anyway.
Chevron.
All right, Sir Chevron.
Sir Chevron.
What?
One of the 12 knights finds out that you're plotting to tell. You find him, and then Sir Emeric decides to go confront King Thordan about it. And from the new info that we now learn that Thordan is Sir Emeric's father, but born out of wedlock makes Emeric Thordan's bastard son. Eventually, you make it to the vault.
The Game of Thrones reference.
The vault is the vault is a pretty cool dungeon.
Oh, pretty vicious, but way fun.
Yes.
Where Thoradin and Emmerich are, and battle against a few of the 12 knights and save Emmerich. In the process, Hatrafont dies protecting you.
Wait.
Wait.
Hoshafont. Come on.
Hoshafont.
Hoshafont.
Harshifa.
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Furniture?
How bizarre.
Yeah.
From the beam of light from Sir Zephyrin, which is a pretty cool, brutal scene.
Yeah.
You learn of Aziz Law at this point and eventually head to Oak Zandu to talk to the Vanu about Bismarck. Guys, these fucking names. Fuck these names in 14. There's too many. There's just too goddamn many.
Yeah, there are a lot of characters. It's a lot.
And you learn
It
about
gets
the
worse.
Allegan key that I believe it. This is worse from ARR. That tells you how to get to Aziz Law. Aziz Law. As is law is what it sounds like.
It's
That's exactly
also
what
how
it
it's
is.
pronounced.
Yeah.
As is law.
But you say it
So
faster.
must
Ridiculous.
come to pass.
Yeah.
You must do it, as is law.
As is law. Bismarck going crazy, eating islands. You make a plan to kill him, but Thoradin jumps in, takes the key from you, and heads to Aziz's Law. Sid, having noticed the direction of where the key is headed, heads towards there. We make it to Aziz's Law, but it is protected by a massive aether wall. At this point, there's no advancement into Aziz's Law, so you
We gotta go visit our old buddy Sid.
Yeah. You learn that Totaro has possible good news about one of the scions with the help of Urianger.
Urianger.
Urianger!
The Frenchman.
Oh my god, that's right, Urianger.
Yeah, you are gonna be screwed with these names, man.
Oh yeah, mostly my eyes just like when I have to read a scene, my eyes just kind of glaze over the names and just like whatever.
And Balthier will be disappointed. You can't remember his new character.
Yeah, too bad he got fired. So
Urianger.
take that. We can never have him on the show now.
You find out that Y'shtola used Flow, a forbidden spell that lets oneself enter and stay in the Aether when they were being chased by the Brass Blade. So is this only forbidden based upon the witch, the Matoya? Is she the only one who gives a shit?
No, it's something that it's just like really unsafe to do.
It's like a Horcrux.
Kinda. It's like something that's like
It's in the forbidden section
they
of the
don't
library.
they don't go for, but she had to, or else she would have died at the end of 2.0. And since no one can die, she had to do it.
With the help of Aru Senna, Connie Senna, and Raya Osena, you managed to get Y'shtola out of this.
You're pulling her from the ether specifically,
Okay.
but the specific spot from the ether is you basically rip her skin and all right out of the tree.
Yeah, it's basically the FF7 Cloud in the live stream sequence thing where you like rescue him, except for we actually pull him out.
See, I was thinking
or pull her
season
out.
6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer after Buffy has died, and then they like think that she's in hell, but actually she was in heaven, so she's really pissed off that they took her out of there.
Oh,
That was
Deep.
fair enough, though. Come on.
Any Buffy fans out there?
Sadly, I have not watched enough.
Oh, it's really good.
yeah, same.
It is really good. Watch it.
Yeah, it's really good after season.
I will say
One
I
and a
felt
half.
somewhat ripped off with this scene in the game, though. I mean, when
Just kidding.
She's naked, right? And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yep.
Sexual themes, check. But no, nothing. We don't get to see anything. And then I don't know if you guys noticed this, but one of the guys that was carrying her away. I don't know if you've ever seen the first Mortal Kombat movie where the one producer is like walking away and then he morphs into Shao Kahn. If you watch very closely during this cutscene, he actually morphs into Bill Cosby as he's walking away with Y'shtola. Yeah, it's a really quick snap, but
No!
if you're
Why
really
is that
watching,
reference in there? No.
so this part was cool though. I dug the pulling her out of the live stream and whatnot.
So she comes out, just information ready to go.
Cosby,
She's like,
you
"Oh,
dog."
so I'm back. That's nice. Okay, let's talk about Matoya, her old mentor."
Yeah.
She says she can help, and so she's in Charlian. So you travel to Charlian.
It's a Charlan territory.
Charlian.
We go into the Iranian Hinterlands.
Yep, you go into the hinterlands where Charlene is. You need to cross the river to get to Matoya's cave, which is hidden.
Nice FF1 reference too.
Yeah,
It was
lots
fun.
of FF. It's like a FF1 area almost.
Like this game doesn't have 1 million of its own references of every single
Hey.
generation game before.
I'm not complaining, except that they took the dragon thing from 11. Anyway, go into Ildeshire with Charlene. You find out the goblins have worked along with treasure hunters to rebuild the Charlene. This is the most boring part of the game, by the way, or rather, what's left of it. With the assistance of the goblins and the residents of Ildeshire, you make it to the other side of the river. So you go see Matoya, and she asks you to grab a tome on the subject of manifesting Aether as a tangible form from the Great Google Library. The Great Goober Library.
I kept thinking Great Google Library.
Great Google Library.
Yeah.
That would have been a closer than Goober.
Yeah, the library dungeon is also really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocked us
It's
for
got
a
a
while.
sweet, jazzy little mix in there.
Okay, the music I thought was way off though. Like we would be in these battles and like the music was still like kind of upbeat and lighthearted.
Yeah, and
like,
it's cheery, and I'm over there like trying to pull my guts back into my body. And
yeah,
it's like,
basically. It's the ironic music, right?
yeah.
So you come back with the tome, and she deciphers it for you. You take this information to Sid, Biggs, and Wedge, and eventually the new information. You arrive at Azizla. So you go through the big barrier that they had a problem getting through before. So at Azizla, with the help of the assistance node, you make it to the Aether Chemical Research Facility, which almost took up the entire goddamn screen. Because like when you ever go into a new area, it's like, this is the new area. Look at the title. It's beautiful. This time it like stretched from pixel to from C to C pixel
To shining sea.
to shining pixel. It went all the way across the screen in order to give us this goddamn huge ass fucking name of a dungeon. Anyway, where Thornton awaits, but not before the Garleans interrupt you with their massive ship. But Shiva and Hraesvelgr, they jump in and stall their plan. So you go into the facility, get interrupted by La Brea and Igeorum. You fight them, they merge, and then you fight
They're
it.
trapped.
So La Brea, at least, and the
dick.
other guy, other girl.
Yeah.
He has been here since the beginning of ARR. I remember he was like the mysterious stranger that was.
Yeah, he
Dick
took
Hole.
over.
never
Never
left.
mind. Never mind. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, so he makes a grand appearance back in Heavensward, and basically you defeat him as it from when he merges. So their masks merge together too. Like I made like some joke about like, oh, where'd you get your mask from? Like when they were talking during the cutscene, because that's what I like to do instead of watching the cutscenes. I like to talk over them. And then they merge their masks. You have one mask on one side, one mask on the other. I thought that was interesting. Anyway,
And they made a sweet reference to the FF9 Black Walt. If you notice that. When they merge together, they become basically the Black Walt.
oh
from
yeah, I was
FF9.
thinking to Dementor, but that'll work too.
Yeah.
A Dementor.
Sorry, Critital. More Harry Potter. And then with the Eye of Nidhogg and the White Magicite, you kill Yoram. But then Thordan shows up with Heldrath's coffin and the second Eye of Nidhogg and uses it and your other eye and basically summons King Thordan and the 12 Knights of the Round, basically.
Yeah,
There
that
you
part
go.
was really cool. I had a lot of fun with the that fight, and I enjoyed killing the giant Pope-like figure who's kind of a jerk.
King Thordan is basically the Pope, or if you don't know who the Pope is, maybe like the Final Fantasy 13 bad guy.
Yeah, he's Bartandalus.
Bartandalus.
Very similar.
Yeah.
A very similar figure. So he's
Better beard though.
He's a corrupt,
Pope.
Religious leader?
corrupt Pope, and so he gets.
He's only in it for the highborn. That's
Yeah.
all he's out for.
Suddenly, he makes himself super massive because that's what we do at
Yeah,
all the end
Pope's
of the
been
Final Fantasy
Pope's
games.
been building.
Yeah, he lifted.
Yeah.
He was.
Do you even Pope, bro?
You lift, bro.
Yeah. Check this shit out.
That's
he
after
gets-
he absorbs the Eye of Nidhogg.
Yeah, he gets huge, and he also starts using his hips a lot more than when he was human. So like, he gets gigantic, muscular knight
Wait,
with a lot of armor.
Dra-
He's got these thunder thighs, dude, And then he's got this huge cod piece, and when he's talking to you in the cutscene,
he's like
just swaying his hips in a circular, like disgusting Elvis motion.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's a little much.
Yeah, dude.
Virility?
Pope wants
Watch that
snoo.
cutscene again.
Pope wants snoo is what it
Anyway,
is.
so I was really distracted watching those.
King
cutscenes.
Thornton's been gone a while, man. He's fucking horny. He's got to get it going. So
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
gotta sway this. Don't you like that, ladies?
So
This is mating dance.
you do slay the Super King Thornton. He does like. I remember he talked about you being suddenly you're being so powerful or whatever. He's talking about the Warrior of Light. And
Yeah.
should have said actually there were 4 Warrior of Lights with me. They're just not in this cutscene with me.
Yeah.
This is why I was able.
I know
to
this
take
is
it.
hard for you to understand, but we're in an instance right now where they're not part of the cutscene, but they were part of the fight. If that makes any sense. Actually, there were 8 of us, if you'll remember.
And we're all Warriors of Light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not part of the story of 14. So you slay him. Astinian succumbs to Nidhogg's eye. Basically turns into the ring from Lord of the Rings, almost like
Yeah.
the corrupt eyes, because he grabs the second eye and then it's like too much for him.
Yeah, and he turns into Nidhogg.
Yeah. So now brief
That was
peace.
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Now brief peace is brought to Ishgard, and Ishgard joins the Eorzean Alliance, which is like the UN.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking like.
Some Dave Mustaine covers.
Maybe
there
some
was no Eorzean alliance.
There's that, and then I was thinking like, oh, how do you say like, how do you say Ishgard exits Eorzean Alliance and make that a cool Twitter thing? Would you say like
Exit?
exit?
Hashtag exit. We
Exit
need to
stage
leave,
left.
people.
We need out. So anyway,
We're paying too much into this.
I'm
way too
expecting
much.
that in the Stormblood expansion.
Yeah.
I'm expecting
Exit.
Ishgard to
Dude, that would be
to vote
amazing.
and get out of the Eorzean.
That would be
Alliance.
so awesome. And like everyone over there, Link Shells just keeps hashtagging exit.
And then
because
you
they're all
get
supporting it.
you get credits, and then you learn about one of the bad dudes. It says here Elidibus.
Yeah, Elidibus. He's like
Elidibus?
he's an Ascian.
Yeah, he's
but
the white-robed ass.
Yeah. So everyone else is in black robes, so you think, okay.
I remember what it visually was. I did not remember this character.
Well, he's new here, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember him from before, although we did play the original content a long time ago. But everyone else is in black, right? So you think black evil. But when you see like one that looks like the guys that were in black, but he's white, then you know he's really fucking evil.
That's right.
Because if we know anything about people wearing white from the Pope, they're all evil.
So he summons a warrior of darkness
On the moon,
on
too.
the moon to take care of the warrior of light. So what I was thinking was like, in FF3, we talked about this way a long time ago.
Yeah.
Talked about how Warrior of Darkness, back in when you learn about the world of FF3, was actually there to bring balance to the world. So there was too much light, and then suddenly, because of that, the Warriors of Darkness came and then took care of that. And
Right.
the world that you're in, of course, you're playing the Warrior of Light, and then you're taking it out now.
Right. It's the
In
whole...
this case, though, it is not that. It is not that interesting. It seems like Warrior of Darkness is just to take out you.
Yeah.
Take out the Warrior of Light.
So, I mean, it's just another play on the cool, like,
wonder if-
Levantian mythos.
I bet
kinda
you like fight yourself at the end of Dragon Song.
Yeah, this one, Dragon
do.
Songs, feels like it's going to be FF4
There you go.
related. So we've got the fight against your evil self. I mean, I guess the only difference is that it's not a manifestation of you. It's just literally your opposite created by...
And then I believe in the
Darkness.
first patch for this thing, they added the big primal scene being awoken.
Oh, Alexander?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sid's like, "Don't do that. It's bad." And then it cuts, and then we're done. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very rough outline of Heavensward. Guys, we'll let you guys speak first because you guys haven't spoken this whole episode. What did you guys think about, especially your initial thoughts when the expansion came out? What did you guys think about Heavensward? Anybody?
I thought it was great for the new expansion. Of the fact that seeing a new going to the content from 1.0 that was taken away, because back in 1.0 you had the area right outside of Ishgard, but it was gone. So it's a nice get to see all that new area now fully explored again, and then understanding the backstory of all of that, and then getting a chance to fight dragons for the first time. That was great. But I don't think it was like a strong launch for me personally.
No, the story wasn't that strong for you.
No, not personally. I think right now it's it gets better in the next set when you guys fully explore the whole story. It gets much better. But Heavensward in itself, the first chunk was just it's not fully fleshed out, not really fully detailed enough to understand that there's no real challenge and there's no real complexity in the story. It's just bad guy, top, kill, done. That's simply all it is. There's no intrigue, there's no subterfuge, there's no
I mean, there was cool parts where you like find out that Thornton is like a kind of a bad dude.
Yeah.
Like there's some
but essentially you figure all of that out in the last 30 minutes. Your character does, but you figure it out earlier, but like your character like gets all that schmo filled out from like the vault onwards.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty late.
It is. So it's like I said, the back end of it's way better. But the launch point, it was interesting. I had more of a frustration and focus on just the load times trying to get into the game because the queue times were absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
First time I've ever experienced that in the first time of my life. So that's pretty much like the highlight of my first expansion.
Were you on Kryn? Were you on Balmung when you were doing it for the first?
I was.
Yeah,
now I realized that was a bad idea.
I had a really similar problem, just like getting into the game, because there'd be like a couple thousand people waiting for queuing.
The queue was like up to 8,000.
Yeah.
God.
You'd wait 15
right now for Stormblood on Belmont.
Yeah, so I'm glad we're in Brynhildr because it's definitely not as bad.
Thank you, Dr. Roxo.
Yeah, thanks for the bribe.
Yep, good 2 million gil. I have 3 million gil now.
Nice.
That million gil it just came from playing the game. I was like, sweet. That's 1 million gil. That's a lot of money. I'm excited about that. What about you, Zozo or Zoe?
Well, I've been playing this game for a long time, like I said earlier, and Ishgard was always kind of off in the distance. It was always there, though.
Yeah.
So we were waiting for it for years, and when it finally came out, it was pretty exciting. Actually being able to go across the bridge and get inside and see everything and hear the music and all that. It was pretty awesome.
Do you remember your thoughts on the story?
It's probably about the same as what he was talking about. It was pretty. I played for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then I kind of fell off. I didn't even play anymore.
It's like this is kind of dull right now. It's like
when Stormblood was announced, I came back and started playing again.
Yeah,
I got maybe up to 54 before I stopped, so I didn't get that into it.
Not that great. Okay, Emily.
The beginning was slow, but I like to see it all the way through, and I thought the end.
Could you say that again?
Oh, sorry. I thought the end made up for like the beginning of the game being really slow.
I agree with you. I thought when we started Heavensward, besides like the getting Raubon back, which was more of a gameplay thing.
But that was it. It's like there's like little tiny little pieces.
Yeah, I learned about Nanamo being okay, and then we brought what's her name back for life, and I was like, this is not. A lot of people were telling me, you got to get to Heavensward. You got to get to Heavensward. I'm like, well, the story part at least is not doing it for me.
Yeah, and plus we had a shortage of dungeons for a long time too. Like it was.
That was a beginning of an undercut because they know that in the beginning of Heavensward and the Realm Reborn, they were giving you 3 dungeons per patch, and they went down to 2, so it feels like you were undercut in dungeon. So less stuff to do.
And that's the most fun part about 14 is dungeon running. Like it's fine to have an expansion that is Treasures of Ottergon occasionally. Like that was great. We were able to do that in a week, right? Mm-hmm. But to have it for 14, I'm just like, especially like Joe was saying, everyone was like, dude, Heavensward, you got to get there. It's so much better. And I was like, it's.
But remember, Bat and Treasure of Ottergon, we had completely bypassed the entire lag point of the story, which is doing the something missions. I forget what.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The little combat things. Yeah, we bypassed all that shit.
You would need to get credits to continue the story. That was the chunk of it. They completely bypassed that, so we just streamlined it.
Yeah,
which made it super efficiently short.
It still took us forever for that expansion, if you remember. That expansion.
It was a week.
But it's not as bad as it was before.
Oh wait, are we talking about a dueling?
No, Treasures.
Oh, Treasures. Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind. Treasures was really short.
Cruised the
You're right.
fuck out of.
Treasures was really short. A dueling was.
A dueling was the one where we had
to do
all of the
imprimaturs.
Yeah,
and I was out. You guys have got the back end of it because I already jumped ahead of the game. But that's for another time. But let's get back to Heavensward.
All right, so yeah, I thought the ending. I agree with you, Emily. I thought the ending section was really cool. And it does what a lot of Final Fantasy games tend to do, and even in these expansions, I guess sometimes Final Fantasies lag in the middle, and then at the end they bring out all the stops. So like FF8, I think, has an amazing second half of the third disc in the end, in the fourth disc. And similarly,
the fourth disc entirely just Ultimecia, and that's it.
Oh, you go through time and kill a bunch of sorceresses. You go up into space and
through a revolver.
That's the third disc. I'm talking about the fourth disc.
So I'm talking about the second half of the third disc, and then into the fourth disc, which is going to kill the sorceress through time, and then going through the giant castle. Anyway, it's a huge. It makes the rest of it pale in comparison because it's like, wow, this is incredible. This is huge. And I think 14 Heavensward did something similar. And I would say the last part of Realm Reborn did too, where it was like they bring out everything for the big climax. And so I appreciated that. I wish there was more in the beginning, or I wish there was less bullshit in the beginning. I wish there was more good stuff in the middle. But I did like the ending section of the story content of Heavensward.
Yeah.
You concur, Schweiss?
Yeah, it was. It got better, and it's
like, it is going to get a lot better as you continue into the Dragon Song War. So don't falter for that. Don't feel all sour now.
Yeah,
it will get better.
We've eyed the list of quests, and it looks like there are more trials, probably about the same, maybe a little bit more in the way of dungeons. And a lot more single-player duties I'm seeing, so I'm excited for that. But
all right, well, are you excited to talk about gameplay?
Yeah.
Bet you are. Okay, we'll just go straight into it. Unless you guys... Sorry? Go ahead.
Can you take like a 1 second and take a piss break real quick?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey, Twitch, inform the press that Krenital needs to take a piss break right now. Okay? Yeah. Let's get that into circulation.
Oh, that's true, Alistair. Knights of the Round was way cool. I think that was spoiled for me, though, before. I think someone said that, you fight Knights of the Round in Heavensward.
Oh, no one told that for me.
Yeah.
And all I did was just kind of like go, oh, okay, cool, Knights of the Round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about my reaction to it. That's what I was looking at. I was so distracted by Thornton's hips.
Yeah, we can't. How could you not be? I mean,
you can't be. It takes up half of the damn screen with its gyrating.
Yeah.
So
grind up on that, big boy.
That's right.
Pope wants smash.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Did you just use a bottle? Is that that was really fast? Okay. All right.
You had to go number 2.
I said it was quick. Yes. I was trying to be quick.
Okay. Ready, set. Okay, so the gameplay. Now we are doing an expansion review here, so it's not like the gameplay hugely switched, but do you guys remember if there was any big gameplay changes from ARR to Heavensward, like there were for Stormblood, just barely?
There wasn't as much because the new ones for Stormblood is to simplify everything, and there wasn't as many moves, I guess, just abilities that you learned.
Yeah, when we got to Heavensward, we basically got the first experience of ability bloat because we just had too many darn buttons to click all the darn time.
Yeah, so I appreciate that about Stormblood. I was like, oh, they can almost all fit on one hotbar.
Yeah, they're streamlined
nice.
And everything, so you're now role specific. So now, tanks do tank things. Tanks don't do DPS things or healer things. They're like, this is your job. You do your job.
You do you, dude. You do you. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but
So there wasn't that
not,
much changes. Okay, from Heavensward.
Not really. It's just more just like ability. But we got all but different abilities. We got a little bit of diversity in our skills. Some of us got different stances, so we got a different complexity.
Okay.
But not really a difference as much as Stormblood is bringing right now.
All right. So yeah, the reason I asked that is because I think we started when Heavensward was in. So
yeah, when Heavensward was out. So we only know Heavensward content, basically.
So basically, at least in the main story, I'm sure there were some extra dungeons available. At least in the main story, they did add about 5 dungeons to the main stories and 3 trials to the main story. And so you got to do those. What kind of extra stuff is available in Heavensward that we haven't yet played, guys?
Have you done the new Beast Tribe quests? Have you touched Alexander? Have you touched...
You know the answer to all these.
Yes, I know.
Well, what are your thoughts on what Heavensward brought to the gameplay? Like the new dungeons or the new other stuff?
As with every expansion that comes out, they always try and put out different mechanics just to try. Some are great, some are not so great. But all in all, there really isn't much of a vast change in gameplay mechanic-wise, as far as I can tell. I don't know if the rest of you guys had any different experiences personally.
Well, you're a tank, so...
It's been over like 2 years since I first started, so it's hard to go back and be like, oh, I remember this small little detail about the change from this class to this class. I like that they brought new classes. That was fun.
Yes, that was the release of the Machinist, Dark Knight, and Astrologian.
Yeah, the people that get all the good equipment, like you were saying the other night.
Yeah, Heavensward is very rewardy for Heavensward content. Like they're like, oh, did you do this quest line to get this class? Oh, I guess you don't get an item for this dungeon. Sorry. Did you do the one for this class? Oh, you're a black mage? That's not good enough. You can only get Dark Knight equipment here.
Basic bitch black mage is what it should be called.
Oh, yeah, bullshit. This expansion has you on your goddamn toes, man. I can't sit there and just do damage anymore. I have to move. I have to walk.
Yes.
The mechanics have altered and strengthened from the other ones, but there are some Realm Reborn mechanics that are just slightly more fun to do, because they're all the extreme primals. I don't feel that they're as difficult as the Realm Reborn extreme primals in their heyday. Now that we understand the mechanics, vastly is easier to deal with, but I think the complexity of the Realm Reborn ones were far harder to deal with because of the mechanics that they had.
So these are the added dungeons here. We got the Dusk Vigil, the Aerie, which I remember. Was it the Aerie, the one that was fucking bullshit, or
no,
was
it was the Vault?
It was the Vault.
The Vault was the one with the
Aerie was the purple cloudy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Vault was the one with the fellow knights, the sirs everywhere.
Dude, the Vault.
Yeah.
I watched you guys struggle through that. That was fun.
Sure
I wish I was there, personally. I wish I was there.
I don't think you do, dude, because it would have...
No,
it came
I watched
down to
Judge try to tank that. It was great.
Yeah, Judge, like when we finally beat it, like the AoE was coming for me, and like I had no time left, so I just cast one more Scathe and then just die right next to Judge, and then he finishes it off. Like we had it so close, but Joe got hit by something like huge, right? And then the second DPS,
There's nothing
slowly...
in that fight that isn't huge, by the way.
Yeah,
and the fucking chessboard motherfuckers that keep going across the screen.
It's like we're Alice in Wonderland here. We got the heart stabbing the shit out
of
us.
Let me explain this. There's AoEs that go everywhere. Then there's these fucking chains that grab onto you, and you have to go across the map and stop the chains. And then there's fucking horses that are also like lawn mowing the fucking this the whole entire
crazy,
screen. It is nuts. The final fucking fight for that dungeon is insane.
And there are also these little flame dudes that come down that you have to kill, or else they're going to do massive damage. Like, it is a mechanic, man. It is balls to the wall.
That was a great dungeon.
Yeah, it was good, but it was painful too. Like, our shit was starting to get broken down, and it's like,
that's what at the end. I think most of my stuff was like getting down, and I have no idea if that was affecting our gameplay. It probably was.
Yeah,
but
that does actually affect how you heal.
If my equipment is broken, I can't do any healing.
Yeah, it damages your healing by a lot.
I swear. If
it's all the way broken, at least.
Yeah, if you have 100%, if you have the 100% broken, you're down to only 25% production of healing capacity.
I did one of my dailies that way, and it was. It was embarrassing and very difficult.
I did too, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Then you got the Great Goober Library, which had the wall thing.
Yeah, it was like a giant...
It's like a demon wall, but it was a book.
Yeah, a demon book. That was a fun mechanic. It took a little while to get it down, but once we did... It
took a little bit to get used to.
Yeah, once we did it...
Like 10 or so tries of me trying to survive 40% of the damage, and everybody else dying instantaneously.
Hey, I did not die. Thank you.
Yeah, it took some time. It took some time. And then the last one was the Etherochemical Research Facility, which pretty straightforward dungeon. That one wasn't very difficult. I still had fun with it, but there wasn't really ever a moment where I was like, "Oh no!"
But we did.
Die.
We got not all the really good equipment, but we got a whole bunch of really good equipment. Someone tipped you off to it, and then you told me about it.
Yeah, these guys were like, "Hey, there are two things you need to do. You need to get your Black Mage quests out of the way," which I did, and then you need to go.
You were delaying that for a long time.
Yeah, and it made it a lot easier.
That was a mistake.
Yes, and then also go to what was the town? What is it? The Idleshire. Yeah, and use my tomes, which I had maxed out long ago.
Long time ago. I forgot about them
and
completely.
Exchange some shit out, get some high item level equipment. I think my item level now is like 230 or something like that. And before that, I was rocking like I think I was like 129, 130. It was way lower, but that made the game a lot easier.
It did. I think that's why that dungeon was so much easier. Maybe it's just an easier dungeon, but
I don't know.
That final dungeon was pretty easy.
It was when I first played that. It was not easy when you have just like the item like minimum.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It wouldn't have been easier because the stuff we have now, I'm pretty sure, is Dragon Song War released gear. I don't think it's Heavensward gear. I don't care.
Nope.
But I don't think it was for that time.
The item level synced down to, I want to say, 175 or 150. So you still weren't like top tier 230 eye level, but you were still like the highest you could be during the content time that was out.
Right. If you had done the story the regular way, you'd been perfectly fine.
So we also got some trials here. Thok is Thok, which I don't think anyone can say.
That's the Ravana fight.
That is the Ravana fight.
Thok.
My favorite fight in the thing that we've played is the Limitless Blue.
Nah, that one's overrated.
Which was the whale fight.
Well, it's overrated for you, Schweiss, because you literally bailed 1 second into the fight.
I was supervising the fight, okay?
Explain this.
So, all right. So what happened was we run it the first time. We've got a pretty UFF heavy group in there, right? It's like I think we had 4 or 5 of us out of the 8, and it's an 8-man trial, so fun stuff. We started out, and for some reason, one of our DPSs is just gone. Like, he doesn't exist. He's there. Joe's like, I don't know what's going on. I think he quit. And we end up wiping. So it's like, fine, we'll just try it again. And it's like, oh, he's there. Okay, cool. And then Roxo was like, dude, you got to attack the eye when he comes up to the side of the ship. So I'm like, okay. He starts coming up. I walk over, and I just walk right off the fucking edge. And I'm like, oh. Okay, well, Joe, can you res me? And then he can't. He can't select me because I am currently a meat pancake at the bottom of the fucking...
That's what happened with the other guy in the first fight that I couldn't res. I thought he had fucking bailed on us. Like, I had no idea you could fall off the map.
Yeah,
somehow you hit the one area that you could fall off the map from.
Yeah, and I just fall off. Like, I just died.
But it's a fucking... Unfortunately, because you weren't able to play much of it, and you did that right at the beginning, and we beat him. It's a cool fight. There's a lot of really cool mechanics. There's like the part where the whale, sometimes it's like fighting Sin in FF10. It's a reflection of that. So the whale will come up close, and then everybody's like, "Go whale on the whale!" So that we all go like on top of him. And then when the whale flies away, we all burst into the air, and then like we come back down. It's just really like visually, and it's a lot of fun. I really like that fight. Then of course,
if you like that fight, you're gonna love the extreme version of it.
Ooh,
oh boy,
so
there's weather.
Oh boy,
elements
it's
involved.
so fun.
There's weather elements involved.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that stuff I've never even done.
it's like it'll rain, and then it'll have a thunder proc, and if you're standing in a rain puddle, you get 2 times lightning damage, which knocks out for about 5,000 a smack. So a total of 10,000 damage if you stand in it. And then there's the wind effect, which will automatically push you off the edge of the island and cause you to fall off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to try that, actually. That sounds like fun. I want to try that, and I want to try, what is it, the Coils of Bahamut or whatever.
Yeah, and then we
still haven't tried.
We should probably do Alexander,
we
too.
should do that.
We got to make a meeting for that.
Okay, so Alexander, Coils of Bahamut.
How big of a dungeon is the Bahamut one? Isn't that like 24 man?
It's
No, it's not an
It's
alliance. It's only 8 man.
Yeah.
We'll fill that up
Okay.
easy then. Damn.
It's the raids that are 20 man.
Oh.
you
Yeah,
guys
the
haven't done
Crystal Tower.
Yeah, I don't think so.
God.
Oh, we need to. Oof.
We do
I don't know
need
if we're
to-
gonna be able to get to that. We need to fight in 24 people. Jeez.
Well, right now it'll be hard because everyone's
In Stormblood, yeah.
once they're done with the story, I think more people, like in the next week, more people would be totally willing to run that stuff, or they'll queue for that stuff.
Once they're out of Stormblood content. Save
What I
thirds
noticed
through.
about A Realm Reborn, I think we'll probably move on from gameplay. What I noticed about A Realm Reborn that was different from, that was about Heavensward that was different from A Realm Reborn, was that all these mechanics, they started going crazy with mechanics in Heavensward. And I don't even know what they're like in Stormblood. I'm sure they're just nutso. But like, what used to be in Heavensward was like, sometimes they would have an AoE that, you need to be close, and then you need to be far away. That's what would happen in ARR. Now in Heavensward, they have that. Then they have other things.
Yeah.
And sometimes lines cross other lines, and things get zany, dude, in some of these fights.
I think in some of the Heavensward trials, there's a lot more of a DPS check, which is basically focused damage into one specific area.
Yeah.
Which is one of the major scene of Heavensward fights that you'd see, where everybody has to now switch into a DPS. That's where the stances come in. A lot of people get different stances. Where I would get like a DPS stance, your White Mage Joe would get like Cleric stance. We got it around the world, but it's more focused now, where you would just focus all your damage onto the fight, just to make sure that he does not do his massive raid wipe AoE to the entire group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those fights.
I think the part that you missed was in A Realm Reborn, a lot of those hard mechanic stuff was like extreme fights and hard fights, and you didn't do that stuff, so you missed that like hard part of A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, like I said before, like when the extreme versions of all the primals were more mechanic heavy than the primals of Heavensward.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's
So
fantastic.
it must have. You might be. I think you're right. Then Emily. I think we just didn't. We didn't get the full 14 the checkerboard experience.
It's hard when you're only doing like you focus on the story and you don't, and then plus you kind of just went right into Heavensward rather than actually fleshing out all of A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
You didn't have that. You didn't have 2 years to go through everything.
Yeah.
Versus like you had
were
this
under
small
a time
period of time.
constraint. Your 2-month quota kind of limits you in being able to accomplish all the material in the game.
Plus
even if it
15 was
already-
coming out.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yep. Okay. So that's. I assume there's is there a good amount of extra dungeons and extra little things to do in Heavensward?
During the patches.
Yeah.
Because once you get into the because I think that's where most of the actual dungeon raid content comes in.
All
is
the
during the
Dragonsong
patches. Like so once you start doing that story, there's so many extra dungeons and raids and trials and stuff that come out
Yeah, I plan on doing every one that I come across because I know Joe and I are going to have to get up to level 70 by the end of Stormblood anyway. And now that we get XP for all these level 60 quests, whereas before you're just screwed and are doing it for funsies, we're doing this. So
Sweet.
I'm excited to get into that. I mean, that's like I said before, the trials and the dungeons, that is what makes 14 fun to me.
All right, let's do a quick transition. We'll talk about the look of the game. Okay. That was a little rough transition. So the look of the game, I would say that, apparently the graphics improved. I would have no way of telling if they actually improved from Realm Reborn to Heavensward.
Well, there was no DirectX 11 or 12 update.
Yeah, they did a DirectX 11, I guess, on the newer stuff. But anyway, the way I would see it is sort of the design of these new dungeons and the design of the trials, which I think are excellent.
Yeah.
In fact, like the visual design of the vault, which is the big cathedral church thing where you have to fight the knights.
Yeah, that's fucking
I
sweet.
thought that was the best looking dungeon in the entire game.
That was a nice little old style Gothic Renaissance style structure.
Yeah, and we've got organs playing in the background. It's like perfect. Yeah, everything's awesome in there.
Yeah, I thought it was
knights.
I thought it was an excellent looking dungeon, and I think all of the dungeons in Heavensward, and I can't say this for ARR. Some of the dungeons in a Realm Reborn they're okay. Like the Mineshaft one is like kind of bland to me, and I always had to do that one for dailies. I can't remember the name of the fucking thing anymore, but
Camtara,
that's probably it.
Well, it's probably the mines of the Copperbell.
Or Copperbell, yeah.
Copperbell Mines. I always thought that was like it's a really bland looking dungeon. I just didn't really care for it. There's nothing in Heavensward that is bland.
Yeah, and that might be because of repetition, but I do agree I think they did step it up for the designs at the very least.
Yeah.
Like, it all felt very different and it all was very fitting. I also really like Ishgard, to be completely honest. I love the Dragoon's
Ishgard's awesome
home.
looking.
It's so fucking cool. And like and the Azure Dragoon, like his armor is awesome. Like everything is just like really sharp in that area, and it's just brutal looking. And it's like, yes,
it's all very high class, very Roman Gothic.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
Elizin style workings, and it's 2-tiered, so it has very complex design structure for the city because it's built on top of a mountaintop. So it's up in the clouds, concept of sky. So you're going up to the top of a mountain and then going up into the clouds through Heavensward.
Yeah, it's way. I think it's a lot cooler, and I can see why they weren't in the Alliance before, because everyone else is kind of like a peasant in their eyes, right?
Yeah.
That was the Pope's point of view. That was his point of view.
Yeah, well, I know, but I mean, I feel like the rest of them, like, they were actually above everyone else. So I mean, it's hard to not feel that way.
Wow.
But I dug the area too. I like snowy zones in games. I think it's fun to kind of switch it up, and I don't know. I just like the design. I thought it was way cool. It was
thought the art
school.
of Heavensward, with the exception of the cod piece on the
that gyrating
Thunder Thigh Thornton.
I fucking love it.
With the exception of that, I would say that I find the design really cool. And one of the cool things that draws you into fights like the Limitless Blue. It's the way it looks is like part of the experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you guys think?
I did enjoy the complexity of Ishgard, the design of the Sea of Clouds, how they expand. They actually, another aspect that you probably didn't talk about was the expansion of the maps. The maps have gotten like 40 times bigger, so you got more to explore, more things to see.
Now you can fly.
And you can fly. You can fly now.
Talk about flying at all.
It's because we didn't get to fly until the end of the level 60 quest.
Yeah, I got to fly Friday. When
Yeah.
I got to fly, and it is now Saturday. So
Okay.
I like
You guys
it.
didn't go around getting those Aether things.
Well, I did.
Dude, I have one left
No.
in like 3 different fucking
No,
zones, and I
there's
don't know where they
the
are.
big snow zone. I got every single ether, and I couldn't fly. And I think I had to get to a certain part in the story.
No,
you
you
did
do
the
side
quest.
quests.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't do that shit either.
All the side quests.
Anything with the plus sign?
Yeah, do
Just
it.
go get him.
They've designated with a blue marker. It's gold trimmed blue marker with a plus sign on it.
Yeah,
I don't know
you-
if flying's worth it in the other areas. Then.
Yes, it is.
It's worth it.
Saves
Because
so much time.
In Stormblood now, every place you go to is like 5 times the size.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna want to fly. It's huge.
Bigger
Yeah,
is
even like
better.
the idle area, like Idleshire kind of area. It's
You're in
huge.
Hinterlands? Yeah, the Hinterlands where Alexander stands.
Well,
yeah,
like
it's-
Ralger's Reach, it's gigantic looking.
Well,
Oh,
they haven't seen it yet, so we can't cover that.
Yeah, Troy
I
asks a
just
good
know
question.
that
He says, "How do we feel about Oz's Law and the Allegan Zone? Do you feel it was out of place being in old school castles and stuff to like really advance technology?"
Oh, it was behind an Aether shield, right? It was behind some sort of barrier.
I think-
Critical does not agree.
I think honestly, I think it
Well,
doesn't.
it's behind a barrier. Does it fit in the story? Yeah, it fits. It works.
The
Wish they would
Garleans-
have gone more depth
Yeah,
into it.
I
They
think
go more. They focus it in the Dragonsong War with the what are the Zervan and
Sophia and
Sophia. Well, those 3 gods that you fight in 6,
Yeah.
what they're called. That whole focus is from the Garland perspective. In the Ethereal Research Facility, you fight a guy named Hydrus, Van Hydrus, and he focuses his attention on those 3 gods in Oz's Law. So it
yeah,
expands more on that area,
I think
but
it.
story-wise, it's not fully there.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like it does fit. I think that it's almost like the timeless battle between tech and just brutal strength. I mean, we have on
In
one
the
hand
series.
we have
Yeah.
like the dragons, the swords, those guys, the
So
old
you
school.
don't feel like they in this story that one of the predecessors of the Eorzeans is the Allegan Empire, and I think the Oz's Law is just kind of more of a reason to throw Allegan technology in, even though it doesn't feel like it belongs in Ishgard, because it's nowhere else in Ishgard except
Yeah.
in Oz's Law.
It doesn't, but it is Garlean, and that's why the Garleans
No,
are
it's not.
taking over.
It's not Garlean. Allegan Empire stuff. It has nothing to do with Garleans are uncovering Allegan
They want
territories
that power.
because they
Oh,
want
okay.
to control primals and icons to them. So they have to uncover Allegan technology to ramp up their technology.
Well, it kind of feels. It all sort of feels like what we get in FF1, and like honestly, the first few FFs where it's like you find the airship buried in the sands, and like some catastrophic event happened and like wiped out everything, and now we're restarting and we're finding these old school things. I mean,
That are high
but
tech. and-
yeah, it's like a Planet of the Apes situation
Yeah, but
that we're.
I'm saying it
Those
works
kinda-
within the series.
It works from the series because they're more of like a focus like Desolate Dead, and you're going into ruins and they're hidden under the surface and there's like not shown anywhere. Whereas in 14, the Allegan Empire stuff is like it's right there. It never went away. Everybody else is just dead for some reason.
Just to be clear for people who are confused, it's that kind of area is almost like a high tech FF13
yeah.
sort of looking area. So and you go straight from the castles and the dragons and you go into that.
Right. Yeah.
In the same expansion. So that's where the confusion lies.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool looking. I thought it was all
Oh, I have
good
no.
looking.
Yeah, it's great. Just the overall place of it being in the story feels a little bit pushed, just a little bit.
All right.
That's fair.
Well, let's head on over to Mr. Soken's Mr. Soken's area. Let's head on over to music.
Oh yeah.
Okay, could you guys? I know you guys sent me tracks that you like. Can you send them over Discord right now? Just find a YouTube link. If you're in front of a computer, if you're not, just don't worry about it.
I am. I can. I'm gonna get Ravonna.
I will get Bismarck.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
You got favorite tracks? We're putting them in.
Here's Bismarck. And then just do XIV, Great Google Library.
Great Goober library. I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'll be back in a second.
Let's see.
And then here's Ishgard's main theme.
Yeah. Let me get the vault.
Just open up everyone in a tab, and I'll get rid of one of those. 'Cause one of them was just kind of a filler.
That one.
Yeah, we have
do-
Thornton's Reign, Thornton Extreme on there. Troy.
Yeah. Areas. Oh no. Wait, did you fought Shiva in Heavensward, right? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and we
I
got
really love Western
forgot about
Coerthus.
Shiva?
Yeah.
Shiva
Yeah.
was in ARR
Yeah.
Oh, she's an AR.
2.x. So after main story,
Uh,
Ysayle was just with us a lot.
oh yeah.
And she showed up as Shiva in one of the last bits.
Yeah. Trying to think of all the.
That's the new Boo song.
And the Sophia, Zervan, and
That's the next stuff.
yeah, I can't put that there. So
Nope.
Okay, we got enough, guys. Let's see. Just pick pick two, Schweiss. Yeah, 2 out of their list there.
Do Coerthus.
see,
Yes.
Oh,
Ravana! Ravana's good.
okay.
Yes.
And we already got a Goober library in here. Okay.
So how do you want to do this? We're just going to listen to it?
So yeah, then we'll say I'll lead it. Don't worry about it. Just click.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So there's not much to say about the music except that Masayoshi Soken, he once again was the composer for this expansion, and he also added 50 tracks for Heavensward specifically. And we got a few here that are some people's favorites. This is the Karthus Western Highlands, and you can turn that down probably a little bit there, Schweiss. What is it about this track that you like, Zoe?
Well, it's like the first area outside of Ishgard. Just really kind of gave me that feeling like we're going into this snowy area and starting with the dragons and all, I don't know. It's just really cool. I went fishing out there a lot too, so that music was just kind of playing a lot in the background.
So you're used to that music, pretty. It's.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it now. I remember it, and it's a very pretty theme.
Yeah, I like it. It's
Very
like
somber and quiet and.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a tone
And that
down.
place really feels like that. It's like kind of cold, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's like a nice slow version of that epic Heavensward trailer we got. So it's like,
Yeah.
I've always dug that one.
it's kind
Okay.
of that beginning of the journey kind of song.
Right.
So out of 50 tracks, we're gonna pick like 5 here. So what else we want to do? Just the Ishgard theme, or?
I think we want Ravana's theme. This is one of the boss fights in the game.
A lot of people love this song.
Is that the bug?
Yeah.
Yeah, big bug. Squish him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
A lot of soprano in this one.
Yeah,
I'm hearing a lot of bass.
I don't know. Once again, though, with Soken's work, I am pretty impressed with him as a composer. I've had a lot of fun running through stuff. I mean, he's kind of like in the middle, in between the FF12 guys and Nobuo Uematsu. Like, he can go epic when he needs to, but a lot of times it is just kind of like peaceful background music. So he's got a nice mix.
So Emily, what is it about Ravana's theme that you like? Because you're the one who posted this.
Well, there's two phases. Like the first is just like this really awesome violin, string, and cello like bit that's like super pretty and super like it builds up, and then this like awesome choir joins in at the end, and it's just like everything you want in an epic battle song.
You want to scrub to see if we can hear that choir bit that she's talking about?
Let's see.
I can try to find it.
Oh, there it is. There's some sort of a song piece going on. Anyway, so that's the boss theme. Is that for Thok is Thok, you said?
Yep, that's
Okay.
Thok is
that's the bug.
Thok is Thok. Okay.
Motherfucker.
And then my least favorite music that Krinital put up was the Great Goober Library.
Rip.
It's mostly my least favorite because I was like, this does not match the situation at hand.
I dug it. It's groovy.
I think it was great, perfectly matched very well because it's a very chill, jazzy theme.
In
for
a library.
It's an old library. Like, when are you gonna listen to hard rock metal and like thick ass like dubstep in a library? You're really not. It's
I think Judge Gabranth was saying that the other night. It was who's in the Discord channel with us, and was talking about, it's the kind of music you'd hear in a library. And I had to go, I've never fucking heard music of any kind in a library, so I don't.
That's fair.
I think for me, it would make more sense for there to be like someone's trying to play music and then everybody's like, shh.
Yeah, they should have just had a bunch of vocals like going on.
Yeah, so it's very jazzy. I'm not saying it's a bad piece of music. I'm just saying that for me, it didn't fit. But obviously,
It really
you
sounds
guys
like it's kind of off key, doesn't it? In some parts.
Well, there's a lot of dissonance in there. It's just jazz.
Yeah,
It's
supposed to
more of a
be.
jazz offset slow pace.
And then my favorite theme of the game was Thornton's fight theme. Because once we got to it, I was like, this is epic and just awesome.
Yeah, there's only one way to bring Knights of the Round together, and that's in the most epic fucking way possible. Yeah, this fight was disturbingly easy, to be completely honest, but still.
Disturbingly easy?
Yeah, I was like, this feels dirty as like an endgame thing. Because remember what it felt like to kill the guy at the end of FF11? That felt great, right? That was
I might
like,
have
Oh,
blocked,
Hades?
I might have
Fighting
blocked that
Hades?
out in my mind.
yeah. That
Oh,
was
the
hard.
3 deaths that we had, and we had our extra. What was his name? He had like twin characters. I'm so sorry if you're listening. I can't do anything right now.
Anyway.
But we did the Hades fight, and it ended up being like 4 rounds because we died. We couldn't pull off the DPS check the last stand and just AoE'd us. And then we finally got that clear where I'm dead, Joe's dead, and it's just Schweiss and the other guy, and then I think Schweiss you fall, or I didn't make the killing blow, so I don't think Schweiss you were still alive at the last minute.
It was, one person was still alive is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all took our turn dying in that one, but I think I was alive at the end. I was one of the few that was actually there.
Oh, did you talk about? Wait, we talking about the Rhapsodies fight, or we talking about the
Rhapsody's fight was sick.
Oh,
dude.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that one. Oh, yeah.
That was just
all of our team
beyond.
members, the team members that showed up were the ones that killed the fight because we couldn't kill it.
Yeah, that was beyond our ability in that game by a long shot. But so I mean, that's what I mean when I say like really easy. There's just
Cloud of Darkness fight. My God.
yeah.
So I really like the music in this expansion. Go ahead, Emily.
I was gonna say that fight used to not be that easy, but we are absolutely overgeared for everything. So everyone just like the DPS, you push that DPS so much, and there's so many times that I've like gotten that in like a roulette, and we'll just like push the DPS to 1%, or push Thornton all the way down to 1%, and then have to go through that middle phase.
Oof.
And then we get to Thornton again, and like 1% like auto attacks him, and he's dead because we just like killed him as much as you could kill him.
Wow. Yeah, so there's one more aspect of the music. There was one more composer on the score for 14, and that was Uematsu, believe it or not. He did come back to do the song, which is actually pretty similar in style. He did the song Dragon Song, which they'll take little pieces of music
Susan
from
Calloway.
and use it throughout Heavensward. Seems like it was an inspirational piece of music. Anyway, it has Susan Calloway, like you just said, Crenital, who also did the vocal stuff between with Answers and with Distant Worlds and the new song for Stormblood as well.
Yeah.
Very talented vocalist. I think Dragon Song is a pretty good song. I don't think it's as good as Answers or Distant Worlds. I think it's pretty good, and I do think it's better than the Stormblood song. What do you guys think of that new Stormblood song, by the way?
I love that song.
You love it? Okay.
I love it.
I don't like it.
Yeah, Schweiss doesn't like it. I'm kind of lukewarm on it.
I think
It's not like Eyes on Me territory where it's like a bad song. It's just I don't know.
I think you'll come to find it more fitting when you get into
The Dragon Song War.
get into that content, and then you get into Storm, because when you get into Stormblood, it will fit. So you haven't gotten the full bit of the story that like matches what that is.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I'll have a little bit of music play as we go through at this. So let's talk about our overall, and we'll give our rankings for the Final Fantasy XIV content.
Okay.
All right.
Bring up my Excel document.
You got an Excel document, Critical?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Schweiss, you know
course,
where your
Frank.
rankings are. Should we rank patch content separately?
Yeah, probably. So let's do 2.0 and then 2.55.
Okay, that makes sense. 2.0.
And then we'll do Heavensward, and then Dragon Song War later,
Yeah.
and then Stormblood, and then whatever the fuck else comes later.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully they give them names from here on out, though, like Dragon Song War.
They did give it names for AR, but it was like multiple names.
Yeah, there were
It was
like five.
things.
It's for each patch. Each patch has its own name that's associated with it.
Yeah, I mean, with Dragon Song, though, they just call the whole thing Dragon Song, and then on the wiki, it's just listed as patch 3. Blah, blah, blah is this section.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when they actually released the patches, they actually had names for each of the patches.
oh, okay, that's
The
fair.
reason why this is important, or really it shouldn't be important, but it is that it's how we title our episodes. We get a real problem where we're like, what do we title this thing? Anyway.
See you, Troy. We'll see you, man. Thanks for hanging
If you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and we'll give you guys your overalls first. So, what do you overall think about Heavensward pre the patches?
Yeah. So
And then just in general, and your final thoughts on it.
we'll go Zoe, Emily, Kryn, and then Joe and I.
And also like your own thoughts of what you think the community thought about Heavensward when it came out as well, because we don't really know much about that.
Yeah, the legacy kind of
The
thing.
legacy of the game, and then we'll go into rankings and we'll finish up.
Okay.
You guys ready? I'll have Emily. You haven't been talking much, so we'll have you go first, and then we'll do Zoe. And then,
I was like, I feel like Zoe's talk less though.
yeah, we'll do you, Emily, and then Zoe, and then Crinital, and then
That's
we'll-
been
Yeah, I've done it for
listening.
like the 4th time, so sure.
okay. All right, I'll start it now. Okay, so overall thoughts on Heavensward, what we think about this expansion overall, what it adds to 14. Up to this point, of course, we'll worry about the patch content later with Dragon Song Wars or Heavensward Part 2 review. Not sure how we're going to title it once again. We'll let you go ahead, Emily. Tell us what you thought about this expansion up to this point, what it did for the game, and what you think the community feels about it as well.
I liked it overall. We've talked about the story being a little slow at the beginning and like really ramping up. I did enjoy all the dungeons. They all looked really good. I feel like they put more thought into each dungeon rather than just having a whole bunch of like kind of crappy dungeons like in A Realm Reborn. Like some of the earlier dungeons were really bad. But I think the community really liked what it brought to the rest of the expansion and then the rest of the game overall. You go back and you get those Heavensward dungeons and you're still like in your roulettes and you're still like, okay, I'm excited to play this dungeon rather than doing, Tamtara for the 80th time or Copperbell Mine. So I'd much rather get those things than the earlier dungeons. So I think that says a lot about what it did to the game.
Yeah, in roulette, I would want the newer dungeons as well. And luckily, they have a new roulette, the 5360.
Yeah,
I was excited about that. Zoe, what do you think?
So I played for a little while, like I said, and then I quit for a while. So I actually got back into it fairly recently. So it was all after the patches and everything. So I kind of skipped through a lot of the story to get up to Stormblood.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved it for the new jobs at first. I like Dark Knight a lot.
You like Dark Knight a lot?
Yeah, and I kind of got out of it, and I've been playing Paladin a lot more. But Dark Knight was something I really wanted to play for a long time, so I was very excited for it. And the areas were what really blew me away. I really thought they were amazing. Running through the areas and getting all the Aether Currents. It wasn't really a chore to me because it was just fun to do and see all the places.
I would say that's a positive review from Zoe, except for the story. Skip through.
yeah.
Yeah, skip through a little bit. I
He's
like the
Vander.
whole Nidhogg segment with Einstein.
Einstein, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to do the Emily and Zoe. What do you guys think about the community aspect of it? What do you the zeitgeist? What do you guys feel that people have?
Like I said,
like people's thoughts.
I
on
think
this game?
people enjoyed it. I think people enjoyed it, especially coming from 2.1 to 2.55. A lot of people didn't like that story bit, or felt it was really slow. So getting into Heavensward and new stuff, I think, was exciting for a lot of people. There's always people who hate everything. It's not 100%, but I think most people really enjoyed it. And every game has its flaws, so.
Yeah, the group I usually roam with, they seem to enjoy it a lot. Most of the people who played Healer jumped on Astrologian and were like, "Oh, it's so OP," but they loved it.
Astrologian's a little OP, so.
All right, Krinital.
Mm-hmm.
Same
My
stuff.
overall perspective, Heavenward as the story kind of what we're covering right now. I can't really fully give.
And the gameplay as it came out before the patches.
Again, like I had stated before, it's nice. It got a lot of things fleshed out. The story was deep enough to understand that it is a full-fledged story. A to B, boss, difficulties across the line, sure. My personal opinion is it wasn't strong enough. When you get to the end, you do the Dragon Song War and see it as a whole, it's very good. It's a very strong story when it's fully completed. As a whole, it just gets so much better in the back end of it. But the beginning is just it's so slow, and the rest of it's just much better. But speaking on your zeitgeist of how people serve, I see that a lot of people were enjoying this game as kind of like I did. More people were just on the end game content than the story. I don't really hear too much on people's perspectives of the story all that much. I don't think they really care for it. That's just from my personal opinion. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. More people are more focused on like the mechanics of all the information that you get and all the story build up, focusing towards the end of Heavensward and all of the highlights of all the raids and all the dungeons that you get towards the end. But overall, for just Heavensward, I think it's mediocre. The people's kind of overall feeling, not hate it, not really super hyped for it. So
Okay.
that's
All right. My opinion on Heavensward overall is that I thought it was a pretty solid expansion. My biggest problem, especially in the story part of the game, because the gameplay stayed pretty much the same, except we got some really cool dungeons, which I thought was an improvement on the dungeons that we got in ARR. At least that I got to experience. The story, I think they improved somewhat in the storytelling because the cutscenes were a little bit shorter. So that was really nice. That's mostly my huge problem with The Realm Reborn is that the cutscenes were, and especially the ending cutscene, they're huge. They're long cutscenes, and everything is in passive voice as well. Everybody speaks in passive voice, so it's just like your eyes are glazing over, especially if you have to read them. Your eyes are glazing over watching those cutscenes. Like a good chunk of the cutscenes in Heavenward, more so than I would say in Realm Reborn, at least it seems to me, they're at least voice acted, so you get to experience that. I thought the dragons talking was also really cool as well. And once again, I said I enjoyed the dungeons. I enjoyed the design of the game. I thought those were all step up. So I'm actually overall pretty positive about the expansion. What about you, Schweiss?
Yeah, I would probably echo that. I mean, I enjoyed having new content to play. I feel like they put a little more depth into the mechanics, at the very least, in the dungeons. I think the fights felt more important. It did feel like a shortage of them, to be completely honest, but they did add cool stuff like the palace thing, Palace of the Dead or whatever, and there are a couple really fun dungeons in the game, especially those later ones. Like that last little bit was a blast to play. Like very challenging, interesting mechanics, definitely more in depth than what we had with previous patches and the 2.0 content. But like you said, I do agree that the cutscenes are improved, but the story isn't really that great. It's just kind of whatever until near the very end, and then it does get pretty interesting. So I'm excited to see what the future holds, but Heavensward overall, I had fun with it. I mean, it's the combat at the very least was, the dungeon mechanic combat, I guess, is a lot more fun in this than previous expansions and patches and whatnot. So I don't know. I think overall it was worthwhile. It was a lot of fun near the end, especially. So,
all right. So I got my ranking here, and you guys can kind of understand what we're doing with the rankings here. So because we decided to change our mind on how we were going to review these expansions, we're also going to change how the rankings are done. So I have here the rankings are as follow. There's 1.0 cutscenes. It's part of the ranking because we never got to play the game, so all I have are the cutscenes to go off of.
Very boring.
And then we got A Realm Reborn, which will take you from 2.0 to 2. Was it 2.55?
Yeah, I think so.
And then we got A Realm Reborn 2.55 and onwards, and then we have Heavensward. So we got 4 things to rank. Now my ranking is that number 1, and it's mostly because of the ending section was way dramatic and really cool. I think I have at number 1 I have ARR 2.55, and then I have Heavensward right after it, followed by the regular ARR, which was kind of for me, getting into the game.
We put 14 pretty low on our overall list. So.
And then I got 1.0 cutscenes at the very bottom. What do you guys? Who's got their rankings ready for this?
I do.
You do. Okay, Krenitol?
Okay. For me, I completely agree with you, Joe, on the fact that my top ranking right now is 2.55 Realm Reborn. Complete the super kill of the queen and literally just complete unfolding of my minds can't handle it for 9 months is an all-time high. And then underneath that, I would probably give Heavensward the next slot, and then similarly I would give A Realm Reborn main content and the quest lines for the cutscenes for 1.0. After that is pretty much my jib of that one. Okay.
Zoe, do you got rankings for us?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and just do it off the top of my head. I guess I'd say Heavensward for me is probably on top.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it compared to the other 2 parts of the game. 2.55 and back to the credits was pretty awesome, though, including Crystal Tower and all that rating kind of stuff, even though that was side stuff. So I really enjoyed those things. But Heavensward definitely on top, and then regular, original ARR.
And what about 2.55?
Yeah, that's in the middle.
Second. That's in the middle. Okay, so Heavensward 2.55, and then 2.0.
And then AR, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Emily?
that's where I am kind of Heavensward on top. I just liked the content a lot better than some of the patches for the 2.55. Like, the story was awesome, and I thought that was pretty cool, but it was, overall, it was, other than that last bit, it was pretty slow. And then the 2.55, A Realm Reborn, and then the cutscenes, if we're including those as a game. Sure.
You know, we have reviewed the cutscenes on the show, so we're at least putting it in ours.
That was rough, dude. The hours of just watching cutscenes in these games, like.
And they're not good cutscenes.
No,
they're like
not.
FF11
They're
cutscenes.
just
Except for the very first cutscene.
Yeah.
That one was fully voice acted and it was really dynamic.
I think I remember one good one, and they were on a boat and they were fighting a lot of monsters. And Stoller was there, and nice, but the rest of it was great.
If Krenatol only remembers one, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's something bad going on in here.
I definitely say cutscenes are Heavensward's thing because they got a lot of voice acting.
Yeah, they did step that up. I'm going to actually echo Joe's. I think Realm Reborn 2.55 was better. Now, I had more fun playing Heavensward, probably. I think the dungeons were a lot more intuitive. It was more enjoyable overall. But I think 2.55 just barely edges it out because of the epicness of those final cutscenes. Then we've got A Realm Reborn after Heavensward, and then the boring as fuck 1.0 cutscenes that you can find on YouTube if you so desire. You can watch a playthrough of that.
If you'd like to fall asleep, you can listen.
Dude, we did. We were falling asleep watching those. Like, no joke. It was boring. But I mean, it is non-voice acted. A guy like running through the cutscenes way too fast, to be honest, faster than you can fucking read half the time. Because
he went onto his iPhone and just cranked up. Okay, this is 2 times speed. Run.
Yeah, he even got bored with him. I mean, and he was making a fucking YouTube video for him. So it's a close fight, but I do think 2.55 is a little bit stronger of a finish. I mean, Heavensward isn't its climax was great, but it wasn't as much of a high the whole time. And I do think that it's on point for this next one to probably one-up that, based on what you guys are saying and based on the structure of the content thus far. It almost makes it like unfair to rank them this way. So maybe we'll have to have like a sub-ranking where it's like A Realm Reborn, all-inclusive, like 2.55, and then just regular Realm Reborn, and then Heavensward, and then the Dragon Song War. It's like we'll have like a secondary tier of ranks.
Heavensward.
Yeah. So that might be fair to do later.
That's probably how other people see it.
Probably, yeah.
But because of the way we're structuring reviews, we
can't do that yet. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds, but for the most part, it felt, it was all right.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun in the dungeons.
Yeah.
But there's just not that many.
There aren't as many dungeons in this as there were the first time around. Like, it's disappointing. Like, that is what makes it the MMO, and that's what made 11 so enjoyable to me. Was like, okay, you guys this is our schedule, guys. Let's all meet up at 8 o'clock so that we can advance in this fucking game, or else we're never going to get anywhere. Like, but with 14, it's like, where'd you get to? Oh, okay, I'll catch up. Oh, okay, you're at that dungeon. I'll just wait for you. Oh, okay. It's like, it's just it's got such a different dynamic to it, and the lack of dungeons, I think, is probably the thing that hurt it the most, even more so.
A lot more single player.
Yeah, and that 14 is the single player MMO. That's what I've called it this whole time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have your dailies and the special dungeons and the raids and all that, but as far as like main story content, a little lighter on the group work. But I'm looking forward to Dragon Song War for sure.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our review of Heavensward. We will continue on with the Heavensward Part 2 / Dragon Song War review in the coming weeks. Remember, guys, to go to ultimafinalfantasy.com to find out more. You can support the show on Patreon if you want. Leave us an iTunes review. We really appreciate it. You can see our episodes streaming live at twitch.tv/ultimafinalfantasy, youtube.com/ultimafinalfantasy as well, facebook.com/ultimafinalfantasy as well.
Want to support the show? We've got a Patreon set up. It's
patreon.com,
Ultimate Final Fantasy. Amazon link. Buy your stuff through our link, please, God. It's the easiest way to give us a few pennies here and there
without having to actually like straight up give us money.
Right.
Yeah.
phone line that we never use, but it's 385-204-3921. That's 385-204-3921. If you're not the Asian Cajun, we'll probably answer it. But for him, we let it linger for a while.
Do you have to let it linger, though? Do you have to?
I do.
Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger?
Yes, Jesus.
You're all welcome for that one, by the way.
What are you guys'
What
are you guys' handles? Do you guys have anything you want to plug since you're guests today? Give him your Twitter.
Other than just like you can find me at Twitter at Krinital, Krinital.
And if you ever want to join the free company and the Discord channel, just talk to him because I can't send a direct link the same way he can. I don't know what the deal is, but Krinital is the Grand Master of the Nude Clan free company. So
it's on Brynhilder.
Yes,
it's on Brynhilder,
and it's Nude Clan.
It's the Nude Clan.
Yeah, join us. Play some Dragon Song War and some Stormblood with us.
Yeah, we got to burn through this Dragon Song so we can get to the new stuff before it's all like old news, before everyone's like,
like I said, you guys have to put more time in.
Yeah, do it.
We had to put time in no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next week.
Enjoy the Dragon Song War grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGaulier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGaulier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.
So Pixel, let's see, says, question though, did you have to watch the 14 scenes if the product was replaced, remade, revisioned? I mean, you didn't play Final Fantasy 1 on the NES the way it was originally intended, right?
I did for a little while.
That is a little bit different. They didn't remake Heavens or Final Fantasy 14. It's a separate Astral era.
It's almost like a sequel.
Yeah, it is, and they actually, it's really awesome. The way they handle that is the beginning of A Realm Reborn. They have a giant meteor coming down from Bahamut that wipes Final Fantasy 14 basically off the face of the earth, which is amazing in its execution because it's fuck 14, fuck all of this. We're making a new area.
Just burn it to the ground.
Yeah, we're wiping it out in both real life and in the fucking game because it was a horrible disaster. Here's the new.
Horrible. We made a mistake.
They did change their vision of the game, but I think it was important to kind of at least understand what 1.0 was, even if we didn't play it. And I mean, you bring up a good point with the.
I assume it'd be like FF11, but with those cutscenes.
Yeah, it's like
and worse menus apparently.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we're doing Stormblood now, is so that we can play FF1 on the NES. We are playing Stormblood as it is being released, as it is fresh, with Stormblood gear and items, so that it is difficult. We're feeling the actual pain of the dungeon mechanics, where if you fuck up, you're dead, instead of you fuck up a couple times and you're dead.
Can you pull up the name of our episode dedication?
Yeah. So there's only so much we can do as far as making it as true of an experience as possible, and
also this actually benefits the clan as well, because that way you guys are doing content as it's coming out, so you can keep promoting the FC, so we get more characters and you get more feedback from all the people joining the show, because you'll be doing more 14 content because there's more people on 14 than all the other FFs.
True.
Well, not 15.
Well,
15 sold 6 million copies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but are they all actively talking about it?
No.
They were, and then they stopped. Our downloads went down.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pain,
see?
the time of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this way, with Stormblood out, people are going to be talking about this for like the next few months, and with you shooting through the Dragon Song War and hitting Stormblood, you'll be right there at like the high point of when everybody's finishing off Stormblood, so you can get feedback and all everything. And when the patches drop, you can actually get the feel of the actual difficulty before all the nerfs.
Yeah, and we'll actually know. I'll have a reason to read the patch notes, because that was one thing that someone's like, "Hey, did you check out the patch notes?" I'm like, "No, I didn't check out the fucking patch notes. Like, I just beat a Realm Reborn. None of this means anything to me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they updated that dungeon that I'm not gonna get to for a year. Like, it's."
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
it.
you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah, I get it that I would be a part of it if I was a part of it, but I wasn't before. So
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end this, and we'll be recording Nude Clan in like 30 minutes.
yeah,
So-
thank you guys for joining us. It's always a blast
No
to have these
problem.
guest episodes.
You're welcome, guys. I'm always going to be here. Not going anywhere.
Did we mute Zoe or did he mute himself?
He muted
He
He
himself.
muted himself.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and log
Alright.
off the old Discord and as well as the Twitch. So we'll see you guys.
Bye.
next
All right,
time.
later, man.
See you
Bye
then.
bye. Thanks.
I'm going to throw everybody back onto the 14 chat so you guys can exit the secret room.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out on Twitch. Pixel, we'll see you over on Nude Clan in just a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's also up to when Cameron gets here.
That's also true.